Let's start with Snap. Good morning to you. We've been talking about it all morning. The company said that ad sales are being hurt by the privacy challenges that Apple rolled out to iOS earlier this year. Becky Quick says that the Quick family is still using Snap, though.
Not me personally. It's the younger people in our household.
The kids in the household. Right. What do you think?
So are the links, by the way. So are the links, for sure. I think the setup wasn't so good, Andrew, right? In terms of the stock being up 51% year to date, the group was up only 19%. Snap also was up 23% from the second quarter. S&P up only 2% from the second quarter. So the expectations were high, and that's because most people thought that they would be insulated from the Apple privacy issues. Clearly not the case. Last 6 quarters, this company has beaten revenues by, on average, 10%. So clearly this miss was a surprise. Now, 57% year-over-year growth is amazing, but Whisper numbers were 70%. And I know people are saying that DAUs were better than expected, but the Whisper numbers, again, were quite a bit higher. So they disappointed on a couple of different fronts. They needed to guide to at least 50% revenue growth because that's what they said. They have been saying they can grow at on a sustainable basis, and they didn't do that. So this is going to take, obviously, the hit today, and it's going to take some time to work itself through. But Becky's kids are using this. My kids are using this. Everyone's kids are using this. So at some point, it's going to be interesting to take a look at. In the meantime, I would rather buy Facebook because it's a lot cheaper. And, you get the same kind of theme and the same kind of secular growth rate.
So even though we are down to 20% right now, what's the number at which you start to take a nibble and say maybe this is worthwhile?
Well, the problem is that when I compare it to Facebook, Facebook is profitable. These guys aren't, right? And this thing trades at 33 times price to sales. Facebook trades at 10 times EBITDA, right? So it's hard for me when, this is the problem. You wake up one day and all of a sudden you're down 20% because the valuation can't support it. So I think it's going to take time, Andrew. These things take a bunch of kind of months and quarters to play themselves out. And this was such a favorable name headed into the print. So I think it's going to take some time. And that's why I say I'd rather own Facebook because the expectations are already really low. And even if they have the privacy issues, and they will, I think the estimates have already come down. The expectations have already come down for that company.
I mean, Stephanie, is this just a market overall that's dealing with the troubles that you're going to run into when you have high prices, when you've watched stocks climb so rapidly? So many of them were kind of priced to perfection. I was listening to a statistic today that we have seen, even though the numbers have been beating on the vast majority of the companies, you've seen the trading activity be pretty lousy, the worst you've seen in a long time, because so many of these stocks were kind of priced to perfection.
Absolutely. And that's spot on. That's why valuations do matter. I mean, I understand the momentum game. I understand the total addressable market game. I'm a big believer of total addressable markets, but you've got to pick your spots. And I think there's no way you could rationalize 34 times price to sales and the sustainability of this company growing at the levels that it was growing at. Just the law of larger numbers, right? So I think you've got to be very careful. That's why I say I think there are going to be opportunities off of this Snap call, and eventually maybe Snap does become a buy on my list, but it's going to have to grow into that multiple, whereas Facebook, even Alphabet, has grown into the multiples. And so those two are a little bit more attractive in terms of the valuation support. And you're playing in the space where you want to be, but you're just trying to figure out how to properly execute and find names that have a better risk reward.
Shepard Smith here. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube.